Howdy ho, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Paula Deming.
Paula Deming is here with us today. You could find her on the Fan Theory TV channel on NBC. No, it's on YouTube.
You can find me on the Fan Theory TV channel on YouTube for the series We Watch Who, where I watch Doctor Who for the first time and react to it, so live vicariously through me and my joy of watching Doctor Who for the very first time.
Wow, that was very professional.
Thank you. It's my job. Sort of. I also stream on Twitch if you're into video game Let's Plays. Wow. I do story-based stuff, indie games, so come and find me there. It's under my name, Paula Deming.
That's how you self-promote. Good job.
Holy
crap. I can't even talk about myself that way. Except if I'm talking about my looks.
Hey, let's watch or rewatch.
Let's watch, it's called From Looper. Movies caught reusing footage from other movies.
Do you know there's a thing in Disney movies, if you watch classic Disney movies, they reuse a lot of animation. So there's stuff from Snow White they reuse in like the Robin Hood movie. Like, so a lot of old animation is just recycled. I'm hoping to see some things like that, but in a modern way and not Disney in this video.
Oh, interesting. I think I did see Pinocchio in Fox and the Hound. And I believe there was a penis castle in The Little Mermaid.
Well, in the old, you can't. That's not on the covers now. The DVD. If you buy it now.
Oh, I have that cover.
And
I spent also $90.
In the marriage scene, they fixed that now too. So we made my mom keep our VHS copy of it so that we could have a record of the thing that Disney has tried to erase, but we all know it happened.
I reuse that footage all the time for videos of my girlfriend and I. This is the first time Paula's meeting me. In case you guys didn't know. See a tweet from Paula later. Like, oh shit, my career's ruined. Oh no, what have I done?
We all know Hollywood loves to recycle ideas. In fact, while we don't often realize it, studios sometimes even reuse footage from old installments in the same franchise or from completely unrelated movies. Let's take a look back at some of the most surprising examples of filmmakers recycling parts from another movie. Life and Spider-Man 3. The idea of using stock footage in multiple movies is nothing new, but we received an unexpected reminder of that when someone discovered that a scene in a TV spot for the 2017 sci-fi film Life is actually taken straight out of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. The scene in question appears about 34 minutes into Spider-Man 3 with people looking up at Gwen Stacy hanging off the edge of a building shortly before Spider-Man comes and rescues her.
That is not going to hold you.
A slightly altered version of the scene appeared around the 26-second mark in a TV spot for Life, though it didn't make it into the final cut. It's just B-roll footage used for the commercial. It's no coincidence that footage came from Columbia Pictures, since they're the studio that produced and distributed both Spider-Man 3 and Life.
How could you do that?
Considering that Venom was one of the villains in Spider-Man 3, fans of the superhero franchise have begun to speculate a possible connection between the two films. What if the organism in Life is actually the Venom symbiote? That's a twist worthy of M. Night Shyamalan.
The most amazing
Transformers,
hidden
Dark of the Moon,
crossover.
and the Recycling doesn't bother Michael Bay. He's guilty of reusing several scenes from some of his older films, and often does it so seamlessly that it's difficult to tell.
It's hard
One of the more recent examples can be
sometimes.
spotted in Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
The third Transformers movie features a car chase scene on a freeway, which includes a portion of another car chase sequence Bay had previously filmed for his 2005 release, The Island. Instead of having bounty hunters chasing the good guys, Decepticons. The inclusion of the island sequence may have been due to the studio wanting to limit liability. The Dark of the Moon set was particularly accident-prone. The first major accident, due to a snapped steel cable, left an extra permanently brain-damaged and partially paralyzed. A second accident occurred a month later when the Camaro that portrays Bumblebee collided with a police SUV, injuring both drivers. At that point, someone may have gotten the bright idea to just use a car chase from another movie.
Action stuff that no one got
Pearl Harbor.
That makes more sense.
$150 million into a summer blockbuster movie based on a toy line would have been enough to put any studio on edge. So it's understandable that when Michael Bay was filming the original Transformers, he cut corners by reusing a piece of footage of an aircraft carrier from Pearl Harbor. While making Harbor in 2000, Bay used the USS Lexington to represent the USS Hornet as well as a Japanese carrier.
Okay.
Instead of shooting another scene using one of the Navy's carriers for Transformers, Bay just recycled his old footage.
Guess what?
Definitely cheaper than arranging a Hornet
I know how to
shot.
shave off some money
Austin
from our
Powers,
budget.
The Spy
Might
Who
as
Shagged
well.
Me, and
I got
Apollo
this
13.
shot. Cut it
When
in.
one movie uses footage from another, they're usually similar in some way. But there's nothing even remotely alike between Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me and Apollo 13. These two films ordinarily wouldn't find their titles uttered in the same sentence were it not for one particular scene.
Time period?
In Austin Powers, Mini-Me escapes with Dr.
Oh,
Evil
no
to his moon
way.
base at the end of the movie. To capture
They
him, Austin
reused
and
the
Felicity hitch a
takeoff?
ride on
Yeah.
Apollo 11 along with one of
think that's what
NASA's
they're saying.
astronauts, and if the
That's
whole
why.
sequence seems out of place, that's because it is. An eagle-eyed viewer noticed that it was taken right out of Apollo 13. It was a sequence created by Academy Award-winning visual effects designer Robert Legato, who received an Oscar nomination for
I
his
hope he
work.
got paid again.
Rogue One and A New
Wow.
Hope. In some cases,
Well,
filmmakers
this
are
makes
upfront about
sense.
reusing old footage, as was the case with Lucasfilm's first Star Wars anthology film. In the original Star Wars, the Rebel Alliance destroyed the Death Star after obtaining the space station's blueprints and discovering its fatal design flaw,
Yes.
an open exhaust port. The reason for the vulnerable opening, as well as the way the rebels obtained the Death Star plans in the first place, became the basis for Rogue One. Rogue One's story unfolds days before the events of A New Hope, and ends mere moments before the original film begins. To give the impression that the film is a prequel to Episode 4, director Gareth Edwards worked with
He
ILM
looks
to
so
digitally
weird. Sorry.
recreate Peter
He does.
Cushing and Carrie Fisher's likenesses, but they didn't stop there.
She worked
The
better.
filmmakers also brought back the original gold and red leaders, played by Angus McGuinness and Drew Hinley, respectively. Edwards was offered access to the Lucasfilm vault, so he found old and archived footage from A New Hope for the duo. McGuinness
Interesting.
even recorded new dialogue specifically for Rogue One. Still,
Cool.
it was a gamble.
There's
Edwards
other
was
stuff,
skeptical
too,
about using the
that they
old footage
recycled
at
in for
first,
this. We can-
but when the two rebel
Okay.
leaders appeared on screen during Rogue One's premiere, the audience cheered.
Aww.
That's a good reuse.
So there's actually, I'm pretty sure it has to do with, I think it's Rogue One and not Last Jedi, but for New Hope, they actually shot some female X-Wing pilots
Okay.
that they cut from the movie. They were not in it.
Okay.
But they took some of that old footage that they hadn't used and recut it in to
Oh,
Rogue
interesting.
One so that now there are female X-Wing pilots in the movie. And so there was all this old footage they didn't use that then they cut into this movie.
Oh, how neat.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Oh, so it wasn't like that footage didn't appear in A New Hope. It was like
Some of it, at least the ones with the women, it didn't. Some of this stuff that he was talking about.
Well, why
may
would
have,
it?
but-
Why would you have women in
Why
films?
would you have women in tactical military type positions in
What?
a movie? I don't know.
That's
why
the
you-
funniest thing I've heard in a while.
We're lucky I'm even capable of sitting in front of a camera and talking to all of you.
I know, right?
I'm just a woman.
I agree. This is the first time I met Paula. Making sexist jokes.
It's satire.
Satire.
That was satire.
Tired.
Don't-
There's a version out there.
Don't be mad.
No, that's a cool fact.
Anyway, so that's cool about
I've actually heard about that, like life. People thinking that the symbiote is what's going on in the movie life. I've heard that theory. It's one thing to take something like, to me, the rocket ship moment from Austin Powers and Apollo 13 is not really a huge deal, other than the fact, like what you brought up, like that guy probably should have gotten paid for taking that shot.
though maybe the studio was like, well, part of the deal is we own this asset now. We paid you for the hours.
Yeah.
And that's it. We can reuse it.
Like
Which
that.
is the
That's
thing that
not a big
happens,
deal
but,
because
yeah.
I'm like, it's Austin Powers. They're going in a rocket. It's Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. Like, in fact, it's kind of funnier that it's Apollo 13
right?
footage.
Like, also because they're meant to be in Apollo 13 going up.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
what he was saying
I
in the
think so.
video, and so like then it's kind of funny if
Yeah,
it's the exact same.
exactly. But
footage.
to use footage of the same people
Yeah,
from Spider-Man,
disaster.
like that's just incredibly distracting now when I see this imagery.
I'm just imagining, okay, so they're in the edit bay and they're watching the latest cut and they're like, oh, we just need another reaction shot. And they're like, we just don't have it. We didn't shoot it on the day. And they're like, okay, well, we can't afford to do reshoots now, so, and then some poor assistant editor's just combing through old
Sony movies.
B-roll. What about this?
What about this very famous moment in Spider-Man 3 right here? That is so sad that they would do. I mean,
That is real.
from this
yeah.
angle, it looks like they well, to make it look a little different, let's cut out some other people.
Yeah.
Diversity. Let's keep the black girl in the background here, even though we're mainly focused on the white guy. Let's like punch up his eyes a little bit. It's just
Yeah,
barely any
that's
different.
like-
I mean, but Michael Bay movies all look recycled, so...
Yeah, well, can you even tell if it's something new or not? Like,
No,
it's basically the same movie over and over again.
That's what all the Transformers movies feel like, the action scenes specifically. I'm like, well, for all I know, they probably could have all just been takes that weren't used, or they're all recycled. Because beyond the Transformers films, a lot of his action films already look similar to the action sequences in Transformers, other than the fact there's not giant robots there, but as demonstrated here on this freeway chase scene. Yeah,
that was sense. Like the exact same.
It was the exact same.
The exact same thing, with just something different falling on the car.
Some different CGI insert.
I didn't realize that they had so many accidents on set for that movie.
That's
really kind of upsetting.
Yeah, especially the fact that it wasn't that public of... I mean, I'm sure it was made public, but not to the point where it was,
like, just some poor background person.
Yeah, here's an extra. Who cares? Yeah,
like, not even a stunt person.
Yeah. Could have at least been a stunt person who died.
Well, at least they know they're getting this. They know their job involves risk. I'm going to be background on Transformers. I'm just expecting to, like, sit around for most of the day and get, like, lunch.
Yeah, and then get yelled at Michael Bay for doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Although, I gotta say, I mean, with all those accidents going on, that is the one case where I'm like, yeah, maybe you should just recycle some footage if people are going to keep dying on your set.
Yeah, or just, like, fully CG that, like... Maybe don't even shoot it.
You didn't even shoot it, just green screen the cars in there. Why go through all the trouble? Yeah, I mean, reusing certain establishing shots doesn't really bother me, like Pearl Harbor and Transform with it. Like,
so hilarious to me.
It is the exact same shot.
Yeah. But again, like, you would never, without someone pointing it out, like, the fact that anyone even noticed it to begin with is impressive to me.
Yeah.
Maybe they just happened to have a movie night where they were doing a double feature and they watched those two movies back to back and they were like,
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Put down the joint. Let's look at this again. I know this is a movie that probably most people haven't seen.
What, Star Wars?
No. Avengers Infinity War. Have you heard of this? I used to watch a lot of Hong Kong cinema when I was a kid. Okay. And there's this Jackie Chan movie called Fearless Hyena, which is one of the movies that catapulted him to stardom in Hong Kong. And then they made a movie called Fearless Hyena 2, where they barely shot it. So what they did was they reused so much footage from the first one.
Oh my goodness.
I watched it and I was like wildly confused. I did not know this fact going in. And I was like, wait a minute.
What movie did I buy?
It's like the exact same movie. But literally, it's not just like the same plot. There's the exact same scenes in here.
Wow.
So,
did they even edit it so it felt different, or was just like they
kind of? But then when I read Jackie Chan's autobiography, because this was before the internet, I was like, oh, okay, shit. That's why I was so confused.
The internet.
Yeah.
So like
when I read something.
1993?
I was reading books. Full length
That's what
novels.
we're all doing for the internet.
Yeah. Now all I do is read social media posts. Oh, sad times are ahead of us. But I don't know, man. I mean, this is an interesting video.
It was interesting, yeah.
It was fascinating. I won't look at certain scenes the same way ever again.
Now I won't trust anything. I won't trust anything in any movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, who knows what this was originally from?
It's funny how, like, studios are constantly recycling story ideas, like, all the time. Yeah. And then even Disney with their live action movies are just the animated movies. And then to see this. It's like, oh man, are we headed down a path where we're literally just gonna recycle just 100%? Yeah, just call it a day. Because when you see trailers, like a big thing that happens with the Marvel movies, especially the Infinity War one, was because so much of it was CGI, they were able to completely put in different things so that way they don't spoil the movie. And I'm like, if we're on that path where you can manipulate trailers to that degree, I'm like, pretty soon that'll be infused in movies. Yeah. So... all right.
That was interesting.
That was interesting, yeah. It's a good channel.
Do you guys think that was interesting? Did you know about any of this stuff?
That's how you engage with an audience. That's what you call engagement. That's what you call engagement.
Hey, comment below if there's something that you already knew about, or something was surprising, or maybe there's something that wasn't in this video that you know. Like, tell us about it. I'd be interested to see.
I want to comment so bad now.
Do it. You can.
I can.
I mean, the video's not uploaded yet as we're speaking this, but it will be, and then you can comment.
And then we can engage.
I'll comment about the Disney
helps videos get a better algorithm performance.
Yeah, guys, just help us. We just want a better algorithm. That felt actually a little too self-serving.
Black Lives Matter too, and #MeToo. But more importantly, We need
Comment
more
below.
views on this video. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell.
Come check out Fan Theory TV for We Watch
I almost
Who.
called you Miss Bella.
That's something else.
Take it away, Paula.
Come check out Fan Theory TV YouTube channel for my series We Watch Who. Watch me watch Doctor Who for the very first time. Or come check out my Twitch channel. It's under my name, Paula Deming. I do Let's Plays of video games, and maybe you'll like that.
That was great, Paula.
Thanks. You were okay, Greg.
I know. You own this video.
See you next time on The Real Rejects.